Another mindset which can work as a block, and if it is serious it can work as a trap, is named fear and anxiety of ambiguity.
Okay, fear and anxiety. Okay.
All these are based on fear and anxiety and tension. But all the mindsets work like a block because of the elements of fear or anxiety or tension. Because if I do not do what everybody else is doing, what will happen to me? What they may think about me, etc., etc. Or my life will be in danger. So there's a fear and anxiety element. That's why it is so strong. If entire people do not believe in what we believe, okay, so maybe it is not that powerful. Perhaps some of the religions may be thinking that we are all believing in it and why don't you believe? That means, are you casting a doubt on us? Or they want more centricity and conformity. Entire population in the world should be centered and conforming to what we believe as the truth. What we believe is the God, and that's the only one God. If that is true, why are they so concerned about making everybody think so? If they are very convinced about the only oneness of that God, why do they bother whether anybody else believe it or not, actually, They have some deep-rooted doubts whether this is the real God. Because there are other gods. So, and they seem to believe that that is the only God. So whether this is the only one God or that is the only one God. So we want to prove that this is the only one God. So in order to prove it, we want to ensure maximum conformity or maximum centricity of great majority of people, so that it is established. If I am sure that I am brilliant, why should I try to prove? Okay? Maybe I will prove it to you, the opposition leader, not to everybody else on the road. Why do you want to get an award? Why do you want to get a prize for that? Why do you want to get a public acceptance of what I have understood and experienced as truth, for example? So, and finally we discussed the 5 elements of centricity and conformity: the external aspect, the internal aspect, then the knowledge aspect, the mindset aspect, then the self aspect, and so that's all in the video. As I told you, I don't talk from memory of what I myself have created. That will happen, and I have gone much beyond that. So I just say this because I discovered it, so I just talk about it. And if you ask a question, then I would be able to explain that. And if there is no questions, okay, it's all right. Okay. So next mindset, there is no single name. We can say fear and anxiety and tension about the ambiguous or the uncertain or the strange or the unexpected or the new, etc. That is the title given to that mindset. If you give a single word as a title, like centricity and conformity, which is a very sensible title, but we cannot give a single word attributed to that. Okay. We can say fear of ambiguity, but it is not only about ambiguity. Ambiguous meaning unclear. Ambiguous situation. We are not clear what is going on, what is what, who is what, etc. etc. So similarly, when we face ambiguous situations,
It's also called doubtful, doctor?
yeah, it generates doubt about what is going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It induces doubt whether what I understand is it the truth, is it correct. That also is a part of ambiguity only, or uncertainty. There is uncertainty about life, uncertainty about what exactly I should do. A lot of people want clear instructions because they do not know what are the lacunae or the problems involved. So they want everything to be clarified. That is because of education. Yeah, decades of schooling and learning in colleges and universities make them obsessed about everything to be clear. So anything unclear or uncertain induces an anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, if I talk about somebody, some thing told by somebody, you would like to know who said that. May not be you, the other person. So what is his name? If the name is told, what difference it makes? You have never seen that person.
Yeah.
But because everything is named, so we want name. And the world is constantly trying, the leaders of the world are constantly trying to establish such names. Names of the religion, names of the religious leaders, names of the national leaders. We all know just the name of Mahatma Gandhi and some stories about him. We do not know anything more than that. But that name is important. But that name is not the person. Your name could have been any name. Yeah. They chose the word Ashwini to name you. It could have been Varshini, it could have been Jayalashmi, it could have been Srilashmi, it could have been Vilasini, it could have been any other name. So names are actually not anything final. But the world of certainty, they want to establish name, this is named this, then tak, description. Name and description, name and description, name and description. So people will remember at least that name. So when names are not clear, again it is uncertain. Or strange, something strange, definitely it induces fear and anxiety and tension. Therefore people constantly avoid anything strange. Strange behaviors of people, they don't accept that person. Strange behavior of a child. So everything, so people have to behave uniformly, which is ensured by centricity, conformity on the other side. So if somebody is non-centric or eccentric or non-conformist, it is a matter of strangeness also. He is behaving strangely. So people are in confusion. They cannot classify him. Unless you classify somebody, you cannot relate with that person. Yeah. People and things and events and contexts are to be classified, categorized and named. Good, bad, right, wrong, correct, incorrect, good, okay, not okay, etc. Because otherwise it would look strange. For example, my training programs. Every time, not with maybe one or two exceptions, every time it is really disliked by the participants. Even when they start through the program till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, with genuine interest, I can see that. Otherwise, I will not continue. I am not continuing. I am not asking them to sit. But my ways of language and my ways of questions and my ways of giving feedback, they are really willingly sitting up till 3 o'clock in the night. And finally, when the feedback form is given by the company, they say 1 out of 5. Or it went above the head, it was very difficult, it was very complex, I didn't understand anything, etc., etc. In which case, why they were sitting there? So everything is systematically presented. When books are written, the difficult part of writing a book is to make it average, actually, which I don't do. I accept a few times, okay. So people do not read strange books. Strange meaning books that are not comprehensible are all strange. If I don't comprehend you, you are strange. You are ambiguous. You are an uncertain person.
Yeah.
Therefore, they don't read great philosophies. Everybody must read philosophy because that is about existence. That's about human condition on planet Earth. It's about the ways of the society. It is about the ways great human intelligence can manage existence. Otherwise, why there should be human beings? Monkeys should have been enough. Otherwise, why there is the so-called grey matter? in the cerebral cortex. It is for those levels of comprehending the world and enjoying the beauty of the world, beauty and magic and wonder of the world. But people are not interested in philosophy. Obviously, by the print order we can see 1,000 books, certain great books are printed, only 1,000 copies. I don't know whether all those 1,000 are even sold. And all the greatest, the topmost degree in any university is PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. But the subject is physics. Physics or chemistry or mathematics or sociology or literature or whatever, the topmost degree is called PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Because every subject originated in philosophy only, including chemistry and physics and maths, originated in the minds of the so-called philosophers. What is philosophy? Love and appreciation for knowing and understanding and comprehending the world in all possible, probable range and details and depth. People say India is a land of Upanishads. Everybody on the road will say. I don't think 1 in 1,000 has ever seen a copy of an Upanishad. It is available by many printed forms by various trusts in India. 24 rupees only. Yeah, for most of the copies. Because it is very subsidized. They should read, then they will know what a wonderful possibilities of imagination and expansion are happening in them. Great music, okay? So-called Hindustani and Carnatic music. Of course, even in the past, there was only about an audience of about 10%. Now I don't think even 3%. Because it looks very ambiguous for most of the modern minds of the young generation. Whereas a tongue-down, masala song with it's all quickly attracting the sensation, so they can enjoy it. Great dance forms of Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi or Odissi or Kathakali. Virtually no audience now. That's why I insisted Mandra. I explained to her. She is a supremely great dancer. I know. Therefore I wanted him not to do it. Kathakali, have you seen Kathakali? Oh, master level of performance art in the form of dance. An artist has to undergo 14, 15 years of rigorous training, including entire massaging with the legs. The guy who trains the body, an adult person, will stand on the body of a 14-year-old boy. Stand. With the legs the body is massaged. For 2-3 months the boy will be tired. Because then only the body will regenerate its capacity and they can stand on the stage for 10 hours. So Kathakali means that in the midnight, kind of extending beyond up till 5 o'clock in the morning.
The grace also need to be retained.
So no audience. Because it is very strange, it is very ambiguous. You need certain training, you need certain sensitivity, you need certain reflective capacity of intellect to enjoy Hindustani music or Carnatic music or great dance forms and art forms. So they are all relegated into what you call strange, ambiguous, uncertain kind of things. So they are not interested. Any wonderful person would appear very strange. So people would like only those who say yes. You say something, she says yes. She says something, you say yes. If I know, then the connection is cut. Friendship is cut.
True.
And unexpected. That also comes under it. I never expected this from you. So everybody is trying to behave the way apparently the other person is expecting.
Expecting. Yeah.
So nobody is allowed to live that original free mind. Everybody is scared of that original free mind. Individuals are scared of their own original free mind. That is the ultimate of that block number 2 called fear and anxiety and tension of ambiguity and uncertainty. They don't want to search into the self because it is all ambiguous, no idea, no clarity. So forget it. So all these well-known gurus, I am sure, they are all talking ordinary stuff which anybody can comprehend. That's why they have lakhs and lakhs of audience listening to them. I have not heard much, but some parts, I just cannot tolerate ordinary things. But I am sure, because I understand statistics, I understand psychology. So many millions of people just cannot tolerate higher order ideas and perspectives and pointers. So that is mindset number 1. Okay, don't go to a strange person. Avoid an ambiguous situation. Avoid an unexpected situation. Avoid an uncertain situation. Avoid a non-comprehensible situation and books and people. Okay, no problem, sir. But the problem is, for all these mindsets have their internal dimension. Outside an ambiguous situation happens, you just go away. What happens in ambiguous situation happens is thin. Do they understand them? They just don't reflect. Nobody can sit alone, you know. If they sit alone, either they will skim through the, especially now, you can see anybody, even in the airport or railway station or bus stand or anywhere or even in the rural areas, if they sit alone, immediately they take the mobile and do something. It's a wonderful technique. It is impossible to see somebody just sitting alone without doing anything. It is ambiguous. Even parents I have noticed, even parents, you can see every child will sit alone for some time. I am telling 2-year-old, 3-year-old child who just sit. Because it is reflecting on what is happening in the environment, an avalanche of signals and things happening all around, you know. So it takes certain time to unknowingly not meditating. That is the real meditation anyway. So if a child is simply sitting there, then the mother will run, what is happening? If the child is fooling around with some wooden blocks or something or the other, they are happy. The husband is simply sitting on the sofa, looking nowhere, then the wife is worried. And if the wife is simply sitting there, I don't know, the husband also would be worried, I don't know.
Yeah, it will be vice versa.
To understand human behavior only, actually, in fact, I told you I am a terrible researcher. I am an eccentric researcher. I am the only one in the world who did research on eccentricity by living in eccentric life. At the age of 48, I married a 23-year-old girl. Because I wanted to directly observe how children would be developing. Yeah, I am that dangerous a researcher. I have 3 children, actually. And because I wanted to get a complete, clear picture of how a human entity is developing day by day, hour by hour. And I did it with all the 3 of them. I don't think anybody in the world would have the guts to do that. And I have told them directly, I don't look at you as children because I don't know what is children. What do you mean by my child? I don't understand. At my level, that is ambiguity. But for everybody else, it is clear because of centricity and conformity. I am a father. I am a mother. What do they understand? centricity, conformity only, because it is very high ambiguity. That is the paradox. They are all very worried and tense about ambiguity and uncertainty and lack of clarity. Okay? But they are very comfortable with the most ambiguous thing, the so-called very God. Okay? That is the paradox of this mindset. I wonder, hold of a lot of people are saying, I want to see the God. If the God, very God appears before them, they will not even recognize, because they don't know what is so-called thing named by the word God or its equivalent in other languages. So human being is a ridiculous paradox, absolutely selfish, absolutely artificial. Without understanding anything, they claim, they believe. And on behalf of that belief, they are ready to kill thousands of people. At the same time, that person is just scared of a first small, strange, ambiguous experience. That is why the Indian rishis said, Ajnana timirandhasya. People are all, timiram meaning cataract, Ajnana meaning ignorance. You are all ignorant. That is what the Indian rishis said. I also say that. Including the world leaders and professors and researchers and I would say even big philosophers, evidenced by their craving for publicity and appreciation and recognition and money and reward and wealth and all those things. That is the evidence that they do not see the truth. Of course, there may be many. I'm just talking about an idea. There may be thousands or millions of absolutely enlightened individuals. Nobody would know them. I'm sure. If somebody is really enlightened, nobody would know that he or she is actually an enlightened person. Nobody can know it. Because their centricity, conformity, one thing, and their tendency to be everything certain, they have a clear picture about what is enlightenment. That is the tragedy. All of them know what is enlightenment from the talks of other people, from the books. Language, they only know the language, description.
Self-experience.
They only have the map of enlightenment. They don't know the territory of enlightenment. So they will be actually confused and thoroughly defeated when they come across the real territory. So it is comfortable with the language. That's why language becomes so successful, because of that second mindset or mental block or mental trap called fear and anxiety and tension about the ambiguous and let me see what is the name. In my own book, I have to look at what is the name. Yeah. Fear, tension, anxiety of uncertain, unknown, ambiguous, strange, unexpected, etc. etc. Unknown. I don't know him. So how can I? Huh? So children are all scared. Have you seen how strange people look at you? Have you looked at people? They will be scared. Nobody looks at other people. They just see. Because you are supposed to look at only one who is familiar to you. Yeah.
What happens, doctor, if you look at stranger?
You try that. So female don't try that. But you try look at a female. Then you will see that they get puzzled and confused. Also if you are walking like that. Okay, when you sit in an airport or railway station or a bus and then sit and you just look at another lady into the eyes, she will be immediately disturbed. You can see that disturb instantly. Somebody, if they are arrogant and bold, careless people, they will, why are you looking at me like this? They will, why are you staring at me? They will say. There is another word, staring.
Staring.
I have experimented with it. As a researcher, I have experienced more than 50% of the time insult and intimidation. No problem. Nowadays I don't do it. Sometimes I remember when I was in the last one I did. Anyway, it comes to my mind. I was traveling from the departure point to the plane in the bus, the airline bus. I think it was Indigo. So I was just sitting in the front seat, and one guy tall, 6 feet 2 inches tall, very well body, very looking very, I felt he is a military guy. And there is a military station in Coimbatore also. So I looked at him. He is standing straight to me. He looked at me. Now I thought he must be a military guy or a police guy because he showed, because he is tall and I'm a old looking, funny looking guy, I go like this only. I don't dress properly and all. I do it. That's all. Then I asked him, um, are you a military man? He is not answering. Then I said, you look like your body is so straight and right and all those things. Why are you asking me that question? He's doubtful.
Yeah.
He's worried. No, I am a very elderly person, maybe the age of his father, by appearance at least. And he got really disturbed. And I have done this so many times. Another wonderful incident is I was standing in the Mumbai airport some 15 years back. So there was a lot of time for the next flight. So I went outside, had some tea and cigarette and all that. Then I came back. Outside the airport building, I suppose, about 5 very well-dressed gentlemen were standing. Okay, everyone carrying a bag. They were discussing something about that. So I was passing near them. Then I saw in the bag, a very high quality leather bag, the logo of a top institute in the world, Creative Leadership Institute, or Institute for Creative Leadership. This I noticed as soon as it started because I am the one who talked about creativity, Institute of Creative Leadership, somewhere in the US. I know even the logo of that. Oh, then I realized that these people might have gone for a training program there and they have come back. Let me see what is their leading. So I went to them. As I approached them, 2 of them they looked at me and turned their head, and the other 3 did not even look at me. And I am in that so-called kurta, let us say a decent dress for Indian standards, and I always have this bird. Even at that time my hair was grey, more grey. Now it is little black because I experimented with some of the rasayanas. And then I said, this is this logo, this is Institute of Creative Leadership, right? And they also looked at the logo, yes. No more answer. This guys, they should doubt this old looking guy, he recognized this Institute of Creative Leadership, which is it's a very unique institution. Even many managers have not heard about that, I am very sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And obviously the bag is, because after training program there are certain gimmicks, giving gifts of high quality bag and even laptops and all that. That's the way to attract the audience. And most people go for these bags only. That's another thing. Like these people, evidently, I will tell you. I hope they will hear. I will name even their company. I will not leave them because they have done a training program. They have been undergoing a training program for 5 days in creative leadership. I wanted to know to what extent this so-called, I want to say some other word, done to these 5 gentlemen. All of them above 35. And so, sir, where are you all working? Then they were all interested because that is a way to show their upper class mindset, centricity. We are all senior managers from Ballarpur Paper Industries. It is the top paper company in India. Manufacturing, I think, more than 70% market share of paper, all kinds of paper. where else even is? Yeah, we have been to US, that particular location, attending a training program in creative leadership. I said, okay, sir, thank you. And they all looked with pride about themselves. Ah, we have been able to tell that to a stranger. Oh, this bugger is. That's what they might be thinking. An average Indian or anyway, an average Indian, a highly educated, well-positioned and Indian mindset will think only like that, who that bugger is. I am very sure. That is what creative leadership training. So the problem is what I said. If it was, if I looked with what you call coat, tie, and suit and all that, if I said I am CEO or vice president of top company, you know, say, hi sir, very nice to meet you, sir. How are you? Yeah, I have heard about your company. Very glad to meet you. Nice. Come on, let's go for a coffee. That will be their dialogue. So all these mindsets are interrelated also. So there is the work of centricity conformity,
And
plus
conformity.
that who this bugger are coming to us. In fact, when I walked it, because it was relatively empty space, because it is outside the airport, main gate, okay? Everybody is inside. So they could see, I think I was standing at least 50, 75 feet away. So I walked straight towards them, and in between they looked at me, oh, is he coming to us? Is the kind of internal questions were developing in them, that I could see. Nobody smiled at me. A welcome smile, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. And smiling at a stranger is impossible in India. Impossible.
Yeah.
They
There
are
is
so
a fear.
scared. They are so scared of strangers.
That honesty has gone. No.
They are doubtful about everybody else. Everybody else is an expression of uncertainty or ambiguity or unexpectedness or strangeness or whatever. So that is, for example, that mindset. That's okay, as I told you, that's okay. But as a result of that, what they are doing is basically delimiting the wonder and greatness of their own being. You know, to do something new on their own, it is uncertain. Okay. For example, almost 6,000 plus managers who attended my 2-day, 3-day training programs on creativity, it's very different, okay. So I get their entire details. I may have come across not more than 3 people who can sing. Sing a fill-in song. 5,000, okay, forget about minimum 5,000. Not even one. All B.Tech, MBA, blah 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 from top institutes in the country. Not even 4, okay, less than 10 who had written a poetry or a short story or something like that on their own. Okay. Less than 10 who ever tried some kind of a painting or an art form or dance or whatever. And they are all highly earning people and they are all fathers of children. I wonder what the hell they will be leading their children to, putting them in top schools. That's all they can do. Okay? How can they ask their child to sing? They may be asking, some of them maybe, of course. How will they train their child to be open to anybody on the road? Have you noticed every child, even a beggar on the gate, the child will run towards the beggar. Ugly looking beggar. But the mother and father, oh, no, come back, pull back. Because they're so scared about the uncertainty of life. It's like a simple campaign. Whereas, for example, every politician, every politically minded young leader, I mean, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years in the universities and colleges, they are so wonderful, actually. They can go and interact with anybody. Yeah. As a student, as well as a lecturer, as well as continuing as a visitor to top institutions every year till 2001, every year. As a researcher only I go, not to work. Almost all of them asked me, compelled me, why don't you take up a permanent professorship? 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh. I said, I don't want that 2.5 lakh. I come for a session, okay? What will be the money that you offer, you do it. But most of them offered almost double the amount also because of my sessions. That's enough for me for 1 year. So, those guys, they will go and interact with anybody. That's how a politician is beautiful. I appreciate politicians that way. They are not at all scared about people.
Because from background there will be something else. No?
Why girls are not coming much to leadership?
Again, centricity, conformity.
Of course, that is there. Plus, nobody tells them not to, okay? Now there is a lot of information, lot of openness available. There is not much centricity, conformity block applicable to a female interested in politics nowadays, not at all. In fact, every institution, mixed institution, there is a male college union leader and a female college union leader. Everywhere, compulsory. But I have seen no female leader is as dynamic as the male leader. He is not good in studies, but so whatever it is, he is really dynamic. Every time. Otherwise, he cannot become the leader. He cannot get elected in the college union election. Of course, this girl also got elected. But when they talk, when they address an audience, when they move around, we can see the solid difference. Because females in India have been particularly trained to avoid the ambiguous and uncertain and the strange and the unexpected, compulsorily required, definitely, for their own self-protection. Every female must be trained, I would say. Otherwise, the so-called centricity, conformity-driven, idiotic men, some of them, they are all waiting for an opportunity to get a woman alone anywhere. I would say almost 90% of the men are like that. I would say so. But only 9% may do it. But 90% of the men, they don't do it because they are also scared. But when they come across a girl alone, female alone in a conducive situation, that is their first thought and that would be their first dialogue or first intention. No doubt about that. So that's not a topic correctly connected, but still I am saying so. Therefore, females are particularly having that fear and tension and anxiety about the ambiguous, uncertain people or situations or contexts. It is good. They must have it, even in the so-called US. Because of the atrocious sexual instinct of men. That is okay. But that is a different issue. What I am talking primarily is that by that anxiety and inability to manage the unknown and the unfamiliar and strange, they would block themselves from great possibilities of wisdom and understanding. That's what it is.
True.
They close their doors to the opposite side of ideology or whatever. Muslims, they do not want to know what Hindus are, what Christians are. Christians, they don't want to know what Upanishads is, Bhagavad Gita is, etc. etc. Completely closed. Because it is strange for them, It is unknown for them. Now, so this unknown, they don't try to know what is this so-called unknown. Unknown meaning this was not known to them. And unfamiliar. Unknown and unfamiliar. So unfamiliar person, no interaction. For example, I have observed as a researcher standing in the electricity board office to pay the money to them. Okay? So the guy is sitting there with a bored face, a disinterested face, sitting down and doing that. You might know. Then his friend comes there in the back of the hi, hello, Raghu. Come on, yaar. No, he's not asking him to break the queue and all that. That also they may do. When a familiar person comes, absolutely open.
Yeah.
In hotels and even in shops, the owner of the shop, the manager of the shop is telling the people you have to appear very friendly and genuinely to the people. Most of them are pretending. Let's say if you look at the customer psychology, most of them would like to go to a familiar shop. Or most of them would like to go to a place where there's a hotel supplier or whatever who is known, then they feel very comfortable. So others are all obviously acting, or when you go to finally pay the bill, that guy sitting at the cashier, have you seen the ridiculous bloody face of that person? Either it's a restaurant manager or a textile shop manager or a grocery shop guy or a workshop mechanic. And another, I have wondered, you go to a shop, we are as a customer, we are going there, you will give a look. Oh, the hell are you? That's the expression on the face. So I have a TV, I have this problem. Okay, bring it. And you go there 10 times, then he is friendly. Then you go there very simply also, come out, sit, have a tea. Even with their business, people are so closed in India. In India only, as far as I understand. That's why I said the 9 mental traps of India, which talks about what you call Vasudhaiva Kudumbagam. That is the paradox. And the world is one family. That's what I call a paradox. I have a theory of paradox. I want to write a book on that in fact. The very country which talks about Aham Brahmasmi is classifying people into categories. And the very country's philosophy which talks about Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam has no sense of that at all. Whereas other countries who do not have this philosophy, they are all very friendly. They say thank you to everyone. Here everybody is taken for granted in this Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam land. Why other religious invaders could come to India and easily establish their themselves? The so-called Hindus, absolutely disunited. They will never unite. Any confident and courageous person can come to India and establish. Because in India, everybody is a stranger to other people. Here are the ambiguous. Because their mothers have been trained like that, That mothers train their children to be like that. When India glorifies the female as deity and goddess and all that, which also is not there in other countries' culture. They respect their women. But in India, there is no real respect for the women at all. They just pretend that they are goddess and blah blah blah. They just don't care what their wives say at all. And all these things are suppressed in their mind and they do that training to their children. unknowingly. Not training, training meaning it will be revealed in their dialogues, in their relationships, and in their doings, and in their expressions and their
Yes.
responses. A boy child or a girl child hanging on the hands of the mother and walking through the road, the little boy would like to look at everybody and smile. But the mother pulled the child. That's what is happening in India. Even now. Because the mother woman is scared about the strangers and ambiguous unknown people. But now, as I see over the years, the females are becoming much more liberated from that mindset of fear of the unknown and the strange and the unexpected. They are much more liberated now. But on the other hand, paradoxically, the men are increasingly become victims of that mindset. Yeah. For example, I go to a college to meet the principal or the vice principal or somebody, and I enter the gate. Okay, leaving time, boys are walking out and girls are walking out. And if you approach a group of boys, they will look at us with suspicion and they actually walk away from you. It has happened to me. And you walk towards a group of girls, they don't change their walking direction at all. They will come straight and they will look at your face and you ask them, "Hi, where is the room of the principal?" She will confidently answer. And you can also ask any teacher from any mixed-up schools. Now, in Bangalore, ask them, are the boys smart or girls smart?
Girls are smart.
100% of the time the answers will be the girls are more smart. An experienced teacher, if she is a researcher or if she recollects if there is a long dialogue, she will say, some 20 years back it was not so.
Okay. What could be the reason, doctor?
Oh, that's a psychological question. Reason is, most of the boys now at this time are trained by their mothers. And most of the girls are trained by their fathers. That's it. Fathers are at work or they are most of the time not at home. The mother with all the mental blows are training their sons. Even psychologically, a mother is attracted more to the boy child and the father to the girl child.
Yeah.
And the girl child, even increasingly by age, the 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 19-year-old girl will be comfortable talking to the father than to the mother. And father will have much more knowledge about the world in general. He is working outside, travelled outside, interacts with a much more number of people than the mother, than any mother. He knows more about life and people and all those things.
Yes.
So he will train the daughter like that. And most of the fathers would love to see a very liberated, dynamic, smart girl.
Yes.
Unlike in the past. 20 years back it was not so. Or 30 years back, when I was a young boy and all that, the fathers or mothers would train the girl to be a little bit subdued and gentle and courteous and etc. etc. Now it is just the opposite. And the boys are not available for training. Boys reach home and straight away go to the mother. They hug the mother. They are all in kind of a love with the mother and hate their fathers. I know mothers who roll a handful of rice and put into the mouth of a 35-year-old son. I have seen that straight. I have gone to the extent of even saying that there is a kind of a hidden romantic relationship with most of the young mothers and their boy children. Yes. It's almost close to very romantic. Especially if the mother is glamorous and beautiful. And that is why. And sitting in interview boards, I have seen that. Boys come in absolutely straight out of that coat, tie, blah, 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 and all that. Sit there with the pretentious confidence. And they have no answers to my questions, and to my questions nobody will give normal answers, but at least girls are at least confident to address the question and give some answer. Every girl is confident, I'm telling you. let me say every girl, well, in a way, maybe one or two. If at all she is not confident, she will say, sir, I feel nervous. That is their confidence. And top institutes like, sorry to name it, openly XLR, Jamshedpur, when I was there was an unwritten, hidden, unspoken condition that girls' admission should be restricted to 50%.
The reason?
Yeah. Otherwise, 100% will be boys only. Sorry, girls only. That dynamic there. I'm a little exaggerating, but I want to show you the difference. It's a very sorry state. And desperately to talk more openly psychologically, they are increasingly limiting themselves with their own group of friends, thereby developing the mindset of the fear and tension and anxiety about the strangers and the unknown and the invisible and all that. They don't read much books, they don't have any reading. So their minds are so narrow, mindsets are so narrow and limited. About But they have bikes, they will ride to Himalayas or whatever on their bike. That's what they do. But with their own close groups. As a researcher, a number of times in the airport and all that, only there I go outside. Okay, here I don't go anywhere. I really research, experiment. Yeah. And especially I have seen these modern young boys, they just don't like an elderly person. They cannot relate with an elderly person. From that I realized that they don't relate with their fathers also. If I were young and gone to a boy, a 25-year-old, 26-year-old boy, they put well-dressed, modern, blah, 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 okay. He would have perhaps talked to me little more. And I have seen, I walked towards him, as I reached him, he looked somewhere else. Yeah, every time. And I also, as a researcher, I am telling you, if you come across a guy on the road or in the railway station or in the airport with a lot of hair and very eccentric dress and all those things, I am sure he is definitely a creative person, an artist, and he will directly interact with you with as if he knows you for the last 10 years. Most of them are artists. Whenever I have interacted with, if somebody is standing even 100 meters away in the airport with the long hair, and you can see them, as you see. Just as you go, they will look at you and smile at you even before you smile. Yeah. That is the difference of the mindset of the creative mindedness. He is not scared of ambiguous and the unknown and the stranger. In the last time, one of the things I remember, I suppose in Mumbai airport, I suppose, okay, it's very huge, and around one there are cigarette smoking kiosks. So I saw the kiosk, and as I reached there, 2-3 boys were standing there, and one of them, of course, he was carrying a guitar also. And I'm walking towards him, he looks at me and smiles at me, as if he knows me. And I went and oh, I said, you play guitar? Yes, I am a guitarist, and we talked a lot, and then said, come on, let's, you smoke, I suppose, because I was come on, let's have a cigarette. And when he offered me a cigarette, I said, I don't smoke, I have my cigarette. And we talked for about 10-15 minutes. Whereas most of the other men, what advantage I am going to get talking to this man? That is the thinking of the majority. Because they are all strange. What benefit I will get by reading that book? That also is connected with it, because it is not certain. Everything is made certain. If you do this engineering, you will get the job. If you study this book and this guide, you will get pass mark or a distinction. You go for this coaching. Coaching is, I don't know how old it is, 20 years. There was no coaching centers at all, as I remember. Now coaching is a what you call multi-crore business in India. Their turnover is 100 crores, 120 crores like that, coaching centers. Because they want to ensure certainty in their life. And exactly, paradox I told you, when you want to ensure certainty, clarity, surety in life, precisely it will be gone. Very strange are the ways of existence. Very strange. They just don't understand. That's why they should all read philosophy.
Okay.
I would say every educated mind in the world must read a little bit about the Zen and the Tao. Okay, forget about Indian Upanishads, it's a height. And Zen and Tao. Tao is the philosophy of China, much more very similar to the Indian Upanishads only. And Zen is precisely the essence of Indian Vedanta only. Indian Vedanta only. I end my book Master Thief by saying that. Every educated person must read. There are certain books which talks about Zen. One book is not on Zen, but that book only did a major role in popularizing Zen in the Western world. That book is named Zen and Japanese Culture, authored by a super genius guy by name D.T. Suzuki, Daisuke Suzuki. It is more about Zen and how Zen has contributed, Zen has shaped the Japanese culture. That's what he is written. But it is more about Zen than about Japanese culture.
Okay.
That Zen will give a real perspective on existence. And those who do not have, they will all have a very, very depressive life, no doubt. Without that philosophy, not spirituality. A guy who has no reading in philosophy, no reading in anything other than the textbook, no experience other than being the CEO of a company and hating people and manipulating people, they are all claiming to be spiritual nowadays. Because they are disciples of Ravi Shankar or Chinmaya Mission or Jaggi. Therefore they claim that they are bloody spiritual. Nothing. They don't understand how this Jaggi became Jaggi. He has been trained by one of the topmost spiritual leaders in the country, India. Yeah. He and Sri Ravi Shankar, and then another lady in Mumbai who also started her own kind of ashram, but she was killed or murdered. Years of meditation, years of mantra japa and things like that. And not doing anything like that, running after money and fame and recognition, one day going and sitting and listening and learning the language of spirituality. They think that they are all spiritual. When they really try to meditate, they will come across the real ambiguity in the beginning. Because the self is never certain like that you can measure on a, what you call on a cell phone. So when illness comes, okay, coming back to the word, will it be very friendly? Will it be clear? Will it be certain? Let's say a headache, immediately rushing to the hospital. A small problem with the wife, immediately next idea is divorce.
Divorce.
Children do not interact with the parents, and parents also do not interact with children. That is due to various other incompetencies of the parents, that's a different issue. But they all pretend. Okay. So, the problem of this mindset of fear and tension and anxiety about the unknown and the unfamiliar and the strange and the unexpected and the ambiguous, etc., is that when these things will happen to one's own inner world, where will they hide? Where will they escape?
Can you give me one example how it could happen for our inner world?
Like illnesses, like a disability. Not now, later. Not for you, for example. You are a yogi. Being the CEO of a company or chief secretary of a state or the district superintendent of police and all that, by 65, 70, if you cannot walk, then you will know. Being the CEO of a company, when your son from US is coming to India 15 times and not meeting you and goes directly to the motherland go, then you will know. When your son and daughter never try to avoid you when you are not well, then you will know. And still further, you are not able to eat, you are not able to walk, and you feel the smell of the death, then you will know. If you do not know by any other thing, then you will know. Most people die even before they are really supposed to die, by their fear of death.
Fear.
By being afraid of illness, they develop more illness. Look at the poor people, they don't have much serious illness because they don't have time to look at their illnesses. They don't care. But for the so-called ambiguity scared people, when there's a headache, immediately they think about something wrong. They are not able to manage that uncertainty. They have to be certain what is it all about. Whereas in the other case, they don't care. And the loneliness in the old age. What do you think all these people that you see, they are all really happy? They are always in tension. But they don't even realize that because all the time they are active. Their attention is in the work. Okay, during the work time. Otherwise they are outside, they go and talk to somebody, or they go to the liquor shop, or they engage in some other activity.
Not to feel alone.
They cannot sit alone. Within 5 minutes they will be scared. That is the test. That is the test. They become scared of their own mind, the running thoughts which will continuously attack them. The test of a person is to what extent and how long he or she can stay alone. Without interacting with anybody.
Staying alone is not a difficult task, but now the phones are there accessible for interacting. Without interacting is challenging.
And without interacting, and not only, you can stay in a city alone. I know so many people in Bangalore, including women, staying alone for the last 20 years, or unmarried women, not interacting with anybody, even in the neighboring house, in an apartment. But there it is easy, because outside there is a lot of people. They should stay like that in a single cottage in a distant remote village or a forest region.
Like,
Then they will know.
like here.
Yeah. Then they will know. Here when they claim that I am living alone with a lot of pride, they don't understand what is that. But their unconscious mind, their subconscious mind is always aware about people everywhere. Though they don't even look at their face.